I am excited to talk about this one, so here we go. El Espejo, or The Mirror, Episode 3 of the HBO Original Series, 30 Coins. To quickly recap the first two episodes, the premise of the show is that Judas betrayed Jesus for 30 silver coins. To now possess the coins will give the owner the ultimate weapon, more powerful than the Ark of the Covenant. So naturally, people want this weapon and are searching for the coins. In a small Spanish town, a priest is exiled there after a seemingly failed exorcism leads to a young man's death. During the exorcism, one of Judas's coins appears to the priest, which he then hides. In the first episode, something is born to an animal but looks like a human baby. The baby then grows at an incredible rate, and its caretaker becomes wildly obsessed with the child because she had lost her child years earlier. The child then takes on a spider-like monster form, ultimately looking for the coin and wreaking some serious havoc. The town mayor Paco, along with the town veterinarian Elena, team up to get the priest involved to help solve the madness that is going on. But the priest, for selfish reasons, downplays the event and rationalizes them, causing a rift between he and Elena. In the second episode, a group of young adults plays with a Ouija, causing one of those young adults to disappear. Strange occurrences begin happening, and a young woman can see when people will die. Elena is once again pulled into the mystery because of her relationship with the young girl with the visions. In this episode, we really begin to see the search for the coins, and there are shadowy forces or spirits looking and influencing others to seek out the coin and retrieve it from the priest. Elena still has the coin in her possession, and she hides it, but is understandably shaken by the vision she sees and what she experiences as the shadowy forces appear. This brings us to episode 3, El Espejo, or The Mirror. This is an exciting episode, and to me it's the best one so far. We learn that the coin gives off some sort of aura because others can feel its presence and it causes distress. But more importantly, the couple that lives above the pharmacy has a giant mirror in their apartment, and it displays some really wonky reflections. It's a bit like the mirror of Erised that Harry Potter stares into and sees his deepest desires. In that case, he sees his parents. Now, this one doesn't show the deepest desires, but it does reflect or show some things that can cause worry. There are some really great effects used here. I love how we see the action in real life and then in the reflection. They play with the optics really well, and it certainly was an intriguing part of this story. The special effects in this episode were carried out really well and even created a slightly creepy atmosphere. We get to see the continuing deterioration of the relationship between Elena and Father Vergara. I'm hoping that as time goes along, we'll see them more as allies than antagonists to each other. I'm also curious as to the relationship between Elena and Paco. In the first two episodes, we've seen some visual closeness, more on the side of Paco. And if nothing else, this has the potential to add some huge drama between Elena and Paco's wife. And she's no wallflower, so if some sparks begin to fly, I bet we can expect a full-blown fireworks show. This episode gives us more of the story regarding the search for the coins, but it's still building slowly. The show hasn't fully revealed how what we're seeing is happening or the true motivations. And I love how the show is building in intensity. The first two episodes were fun, but this one has a story that builds to just about an explosion. There are some actions that take place here that are frenzied and insane, and honestly, I can't wait to see what ramifications it has on the next episode. The characters are making decisions that have far-reaching consequences, but they may not realize them yet. How will relationships be altered? What do the actions that are done in this episode mean for the future? There's something set in motion in this episode that is unclear on what it means for our main players, so I'm very curious and excited for episode 4. I'm really digging the atmosphere of the show. It's maintaining its dark feeling without being so oppressive that it's unenjoyable. Some of the editing is still a bit jumpy or abrupt to me, but it's not so much that it pulls me completely out of the narrative. The pace moves pretty quickly too. Kind of like in the first episode, this one opens with a fairly shocking scene, but I love how it's propelling the story forward. It's building the mystery, lore, and universe from a different angle. I want to know how these will converge. We really get only one large piece of the story with Elena, Paco, and Father Vergara. The other areas are just glimpses of the events that are occurring around the world. Kind of wish we'd get 2 episodes per week so I could get more of a binge on, but this episode certainly did satisfy. There's no sex or nudity, a bunch of profanity, and some very brutal and gruesome violence. Give episode 3 of 30 Coins 4.5 out of 5 couches. So have you been watching? What are your thoughts on the series so far? Do you have a favorite character? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this review, please give it a like. Also, don't forget to share and subscribe. I'm Chris. This is Movies and Munchies. Thanks for catching with me.